This is part one, the first, in a series of tutorials to help you complete McGraw-Hill, SIMnet, Excel Chapter 2, Guided Project 2-3. Like all their other projects, there's a start file to download, and there's also a solution in the format of a PDF, which we will look at later. The start file is, of course, an Excel file, which I have opened already. And I think what I'm going to try to do, since there's a lot of details in the instructions, is do kind of like a split screen. Let's see if I can do that, where I can look at the instructions on one half of the screen and see my actual file on the other. Maybe that will help me. So it starts by downloading. And here are the instructions. Now, I'm doing this on a Mac. I'm deliberately switching the instructions to Windows, so it will highlight whenever there's a difference between Windows and Mac, which I think is either minimal or non-existent in this particular assignment. Let's get started. These are all the outcomes, and here comes the actual skills. Step number one, open the workbook and make sure that it's named correctly. If you're opening it on Windows, it might have like a yellow strip that says enable editing. Mac usually doesn't have that, but in any case, you make sure that it includes your name plus the name of the project. And that's basically all of step one. Then start some real stuff. Step 2A, select the student loan sheet. There's two sheets, student loan, fees and credits. Like a general word about like the whole premise of this. There's supposedly this imaginary college called Sierra Pacific Community College. This sheet is mostly aimed at students to tell them, okay, if you take this loan for this many years with this rate, this is going to be your payment, this is going to be how much you're going to pay in interest, this is going to be your principal, and so on, like a loan calculator for students. And we're going to have to insert a lot of formulas to calculate that. The second one, which we will get to around step 8 or 9, is more aimed at the departments at the college that tell them how much they can expect to bill the students for fees, and these are different departments, and how many credit hours and how many students are taking it, and so on. And this will add up all the fees that the departments are charging the students. So let's get started. Student loan. And select the cells B5, C8. So B5, C8. And that's basically this whole little table. Press Control and select E5, F7, which is really the other one. Now on Mac, instead of Control, it's going to be Command. So I'm going to go here, press Command, and add them. Why do I need to press Command on Mac or Control? Because if I tried, let me click somewhere else, highlighting this and then highlighting this, it would forget the first one. If I want to highlight both, which is, what they like to call non-adjacent ranges, in other words, like, two islands that don't touch each other, I'll select one of them, hold Control on PC or Command on Mac, and select both of them. Once they're both selected, here's the idea. Instead of calling this cell from now on C5, they actually want to give him like a label or a name. So in formulas, when I say loan amount, I can say the cell where the loan amount is, like its name, instead of saying cell C5, which is harder to remember. So click the Create from Selection button, which is in the Define Name group. So Create from Selection button, Formulas tab, Define Names group. I think I'm going to have to make this wider to see all the tools. And here is Formulas. And here is Create from Selection. And I'm going to click, and it's going to pop up in a dialog. Now, they're telling me verify that the left column box in the Create Names from Selection dialog is selected. So in other words, it's asking me, okay, where do you want me to take the names from? Oh, from the left column. And I click OK. And from now on, the name of each one of those cells with a value is based on the label name just to its left. So we did C, we did D, deselect the top row box if it's checked and click OK. So back to this. Let's do it again. Create from selection, left column, OK. And it doesn't look like anything was, it didn't ask me anything. Next. It must be something that might be appearing on Windows. I didn't see it. Click the Name Manager button, which again is in the Formulas tab. Define Names group to view the names in the Name Manager group. So where is that Name Manager? It's right here. I'm going to click it and I'm going to see what names it created. It created a name called loan amount with a value of 10,000, a loan term, a payment, and so on. Total cost, it created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different names for the values with the boxes based on what's on the left of them. So if I look at the instructions, now you know what, I'll make the instructions a little bigger. It looks exactly like what they have here. And also you can see, if I'm going back here, that if I make this wider, what it really says is that, okay, the name student loan has been assigned to the cell C5. Now those dollars, we're going to talk about them. The dollar signs mean absolute. It means that if something in this cell is copied to another cell, it's not going to update the column C and not going to update the 5. It's like saying always C, always 5. But we're going to get to that. And then after I see the name manager, I just see the names, I click close. I don't need this dialog anymore. Close. Next. Enter a PMT function. PMT is simply short for payment. It's like a loan calculator. It's like saying if you, borrow this much money for this amount of time with this interest, this is going to be your payment, this is going to be your interest, and so on. This, the cost of the loan. So select cell C8, and we're going to click the financial button, and the function is called PMT. So C8, which is, now that I have it on the whole screen, I can actually enlarge it. C8, this is where we're missing a calculation for payment. And under formulas, under, where did it say it was supposed to be? Financial. There's a ton of them. And if I go alphabetically, here's PMT, payment. Now, as soon as it does that, as soon as I do that, it does two things. First of all, in the formula bar, it writes PMT with, begin in parentheses, because that's all formulas, and also the equal sign. All formulas start with an equal sign, and built-in functions have begin in parentheses. And then what's called a formula builder. Now, for Formula Builder, it's really like an automatic way of typing things here. In later formulas, I will show you that you can actually do without it. This is like a place where it asks you, okay, so what's the rate? What's the number? What's, whatever. So then they tell you exactly what to enter. Now, it's really important not to click on any other cell while you're doing this or you're confusing it. Because it's basically asking is, what cell should I use for the rate? So it's telling you, click the rate box if necessary, if it's not highlighted, and then click C7. The name rate is substituted. Range names are absolute references. So what do they really mean? Here's rate, and then I'm going to click C7. And look at how, instead of C7, it put the name rate here, because we already named it. We gave it a name. If we put the cell C7, it would do the same thing, but it's easier to think of, okay, what's the payment, the rate times the payments, and and so on. So it substitutes it with names. So we did this. Then D. Type divided or /12 immediately after rate to divide by 12 months because the rate is annual. So it's rate divided by 12. After that, click the NPR box and click cell 6. The NPR is the loan term, is like, how many years it's going to take. So NPR. Now, C6 is the loan term, but it's in years. So in order to get the number of months, because you're paying your loan every month, it's telling you to do times 12. Why? Because there's 12 months in a year. So loan term times, which is the asterisk, 12. And look at how while I fill out those boxes, it's starting to fill up these boxes, which I could have typed myself, but this is like a helper. Then click the PV box and type a minus sign to set the argument as a negative amount. Now, what's the PV? We'll see. First of all, minus. Minus what? Click the cell 5 loan amount for the PV argument. A negative loan amount reflects the lender's perspective because the money is paid out now. Or in other words, PV, we're going to click cell C5. What's C5? It's like how much you're taking, but it's negative because you owe that money. Next. Leave the FV, the full amount, and type entry boxes and type. Leave the FV and the type boxes empty. So this PV is the loan amount, FV not used, type not used, and then click OK, which is on your on the dialog. The payment loan for this rate should be 186.43 cents, as shown as a positive value. On Mac, it's done. On Windows, it must be like, okay, but I click done. And at this point, I would even rather close this because I found that if I want to type anything here, this must be closed. Oh, they kind of fight with each other. So either I use these boxes or I type myself. So I close it and I look at the result. Look, the result is $186.43, but it's the result of this formula, which I could have typed myself. I could have typed this myself if I knew what I was doing. It's just that the formula builder is helping me. So while the box is selected, it's going to show the formula. But if I select anything else, it shows the result of the formula. It says, okay, if you borrow $10,000 over 5 years, which is, times 12 months, it's like 70 to 60 months, at an interest rate of 4.5, your payment is going to be this much. Let's continue to the next steps in the next part. So we just finished step K, which is the end of 3. Actually, we need to do one more thing. Format cell C8 as accounting. Now, what's accounting? Like, it's 2 ways to show money. One of them right now, if I go home, it says that it's currency because it inserts, the dollar and the 2 decimals for the cents. If I change it to the format called accounting, it's almost the same. If I click somewhere else, all it does is really put the $ all the way to the left. It's a very simple, small formatting difference. But what it does is make it consistent with the way the 10,000 is formatted, also as accounting. Let's save, of course, and I will stop this part of the tutorial and I'll see you in part 2.